All right, thanks, Pooja. Well, a proposed $25 million class action lawsuit by the Church of the Universe is challenging Canada's marijuana laws. Now, the church claims pot as a sacrament and feels Canada's laws are violating part of their religious freedoms. Joining me to discuss this morning is the Archbishop of the church, Reverend Michael Baldissera. Good morning.
Good morning, sister.
So, in this religion, you say marijuana is a sacrament.
Yes.
Explain what that means.
Well, sacrament means something that is sacred.
And why is marijuana sacred in this religion?
Well, it helps me communicate with God. Artists have used it for countless centuries, and the first art for God is music, of course.
And so how is it used in this religion?
Well, everybody uses it in a different way. When you eat it, or you smoke it, or you wear it, you're using a plant that can save the world. In fact, Toronto's million-dollar debts that I'm hearing about today, the money that is being lost and the policing that we wouldn't have to do, not to mention torturing all these poor marijuana smokers, pretending we have a criminal law when it's a federal health civil law. It's actually a regulation, and it's not even enforced.
Now, a lot of critics of this religion say that the practice of this religion is just an excuse to smoke pot. What do you say to that?
We Christians to the lion pits. Maybe the Germans don't like the Jews. It's the same thing. It's religious persecution. And Justice McCart in the Ontario court in 1997, Christopher Clay trial with Professor Alan Young, ruled that marijuana was less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. So what are we doing to the people of this country when we could be making money, growing hemp across the country, feeding ourselves, putting air back into the atmosphere, and we could be rich?
So you actually use it during the services?
In my worship.
You smoke it and you eat it? And
in my worship, and like Jesus said, do it in the closet. Pray in the closet. Well, most of the marijuana smokers are, because the doctors and the lawyers and all the teachers and the people I've met in my 40-some years using God's tree of life, marijuana, are afraid to say they do because they'd lose their job. Like, it's fear-mongering, it's reefer madness, it has to stop. It's less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. I quit smoking, and that was hard. This is non-addictive, and Justice McCart has already found that it doesn't cause schizophrenia, it doesn't lead to heavier drug use. In fact, when marijuana was legal just a few years back for a while in Hamilton's Hess Village, people were smoking up, and the police that I know told me they never had fewer problems. People were drinking less, there was no fighting, and you're alienating, this law is alienating a whole bunch of decent law-abiding citizens. When I first smoked my first joint when I was 21, that night I had a nightmare. The police were kicking my door down. That is not right. That's immoral.
I like the term reefer madness. Okay, so a lot of members of this church have been arrested.
Yes.
Including yourself.
Oh, yes.
And you all have criminal records.
No.
Oh, you don't?
I have a Narcotic Control Act record. You see, it's not criminal. The Hauser decision, 1979, the Supreme Court said they're using criminal procedure. And to say it's criminal is reefer madness.
So this is part of the lawsuit, right? So tell me a bit about the lawsuit.
Well, the lawsuit is to get them to stop, is for a religious exemption, and on the other side of the coin, there is no jurisdiction. This law was not properly enacted. It's like the Dairy Industry Act in the margarine law and the alcohol. It has to be voted on from district to district, just like in High Park.
So where do you go from here, this lawsuit?
Well, right now I'm going to a criminal prosecution of myself and Reverend Tucker at Hamilton in September, and this lawsuit sort of going to be intertwined with that. Whether they want to stop that prosecution and the thousands of others pending the federal court's hearing, or they want to hear it in Hamilton, we're ready to go.
Reverend Michael Baldissera, the Archbishop of the Church of the Universe, thanks a lot for coming in this morning.
God bless, and thank you for having us.
All right, thank you. 7:52 is the time. It's wedding bells for one of the Spice Girls. But those bells weren't ringing